I admire you. You have rubbed shoulders with politicians. You rubbed shoulder with Hollywood celebrities. You've stayed at the Beverly Hotel. You've just hung out there among the who's who of Hollywood, rappers, entertainers, and then bishops and archbishops, and you've traveled the globe. Why would you go from knowing all of these people, doing all of this, and how did you end up in politics? Is that an oxymoron, or is that the design? I read about Daniel and him working in government as a statesman. We know about Joseph, and now we know about State Rep Kim Daniels, that soon-to-be Congresswoman Kim Daniels. I'm prophesying.
Yeah, I know it is a prophecy because I want nothing to do with Washington, D.C. Actually, but I wanted nothing to do with what I'm doing now. See, it's not my will, but His will be done. Let your kingdom come and your will be. Don't you think I'd rather be traveling around the world with kings and athletes and, and movie stars and praying for people and doing these big conferences than being a political figure who's attacked every day because of faith?
You have to have tough skin.
But you know what? I tell you what, when God, wherever He sends you, He covers and protects you. Yes. And there is no way that I will have anything to do with government except the Lord sent me. And I was traveling around the world, and I come back from Hong Kong. With the richest families in the world, just with my children and having a wonderful time, and I did a quick trip. Now, if you go to Hong Kong and turn around in 5 days, it takes a big girl to do that because of the jet lag.
So you're prophesying to me that when I go, I should stay at least 10 or 15 days.
You should, unless the Lord say otherwise.
So I sense, along with my travel agent who's sitting out there, that we're stretching it to at least 15 days.
2 weeks is, but you just don't go drive. You just don't fly. I think it was like 18 hours on one plane and then 7 hours on another plane or something like that. And then you stay 5 days and turn right back around. Your body's like, where am I? What am I doing? So I just got back from a quick trip from Hong Kong, and I went to sleep, and it was about 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was before God. I'm not one of those people that have visions and see God every day, okay? It just don't happen like that. I'm not judging anybody. It just don't happen like that for me. But I didn't see Him. It was all darkness, but I heard His voice. I couldn't see anything. I was standing before Him, and there was a lady that I was helping to raise money for her to run for mayor. I didn't want nothing to do with that. I was just helping her because she was a friend of the family. And the Lord called her name out and said, she's going to get off the ballot and you need to get on. And I wish I could say, I said, Father, yes. In the dream, I was like, God, you're crazy. I don't understand this. What do you mean? I don't even know what a ballot is. And as I was going back and forth with the Lord, the phone rang for real. It was the lady. I picked the phone up, and she said, I'm getting off the ballot. I hung the phone up because that was for real. I came out of the dream into reality. I was dreaming, the phone rang, I woke up for real, I picked the phone, she said, I'm getting off the ballot, I hung the phone up. The Lord said, pick that phone back up and tell her what I said. And I said, God said for me to get on the ballot. She said, they will kill you. You can't do that. And I took a large sum of my money, and I just, at the last minute, got on the ballot. And then 2 people had been on the ballot for this race for 2 years. I got on the ballot, and in 2 months, I got 93,000 votes. And I became the first black female Democrat, the only, don't just say first, right now today, to hold a citywide seat in a strong Republican area.
God's leading lady.
And here we are.
Yes. You move me to tears just hearing that. What God has done in your life. You so much. You've done many, many books. I lost count. You probably lost count as well. What is your next project? Are you working on a movie?
Yes, yes, we are working on a movie. It's called Demon Buster.
Okay.
And that's all. It's gonna blow minds. It will blow minds on how God. I've seen so many miracles. I've seen God work miracles at the Super Bowl, where we prophesied victory, and God gave us creative miracles at Super Bowl games. I've seen miracles in elections. I've seen miracles in every area that you can imagine. And even just being a small preacher from a small congregation, where nobody, even knew who I was, and how God has just sent my name ahead of me because His name covers me. And so I believe that the name Demon Buster will shake the foundations of this world and those agendas that are anti-God and anti-Christ. And this movie will have a lot of opposition, which is going to bring great power. Yes. And I'm looking forward to doing it, because ain't nobody mad but the devil.
Gail, strong hands, strong heart. Gail, I hear music coming up out of you. I hear you praising God. And you're praising God because you haven't taken for granted the things that God down on the inside of you. I hear music waking you up, and hear music putting you off to sleep at night. The song singing to you, Zion's song. I see an angel that stands over your bed. And when that angel stands over your bed, even sometimes during the night, I feel a quaking and a shaking as you shake under the power of God, because you're addicted to the presence of the Lord. And out of everything that you've gone through, you've been able to, you're such a powerful person that you've been able to sing your way out. Your songs have been like a prophecy that prophesied to you, that got you up and made you go through. When you wanted to throw in the towel, you just wouldn't quit, because you trusted the Lord to help you to make melody in your heart, melody in your heart, songs and hymns and spiritual songs, making melody in your heart. You've been doing just that. And as a result of it, you're going to hit pay dirt this year. When I say pay dirt, there are going to be people that I literally feel like this hand sliding money in your hand like that and saying, you just blessed me. Yes. And when you take the hand back, it's like you close your hand because you understand that God has put that in your hand. The anointing just changed in your hand when I did that. I felt a healing anointing that changed in your hand. And it's a healing that goes over their finances, helping people to heal their debt. Yes. Those people that have been in debt and didn't know how to manage their money, you're going to help them with the management of their money. It looks like your hand, that pen, that ready writer, helping them with the figures, helping them with the debt reduction, changing their credit score, helping them to position themselves so that they can succeed financially. They're not fleeced and lose their money because of the bad credit score. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Warrior, you are fierce.
You seem to not be intimidated by anything. Can we be personal for just a few minutes?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. You took the bait. You were sharing with me that you went through a really bad divorce. And every woman needs to know how to rebound or how to recover from such a loss and how to journey on. I'm putting in a shameful plug for Journey On, my last book. One of the parts of the book, I included a segment on what therapists, counselors have said and what the Bible says about overcoming divorce, and some therapeutic exercises that women can go through, men can go through. But as a woman, a strong woman, a powerful woman, a woman that was just at the top of your game, everybody saw you on major platforms, and no one was aware of the personal attack that you went through and that your children went through. How do you rise from that and not smell like or look like you'd been torn asunder?
Well, first of all, God hates divorce. But before he ever hated divorce, he hates an unequal yoke. And I never knew I was in a situation where I was getting a divorce because the marriage didn't seem like it was bad.
Wait, you didn't know you were getting a divorce?
No. So what I'm saying to you is that it wasn't a bad atmosphere.
Okay.
This was just something shocking that came. But God had already prepared me. He prepared my heart. So since God prepared my heart in it, this just wasn't an attack of a divorce. It's bigger than a divorce.
Okay, what was the root?
God wanted a ministry. I mean, the devil wanted a ministry.
Wow.
So he didn't just want a marriage. To shut my marriage down would just only affect my household.
Wow.
But he wanted to shut the ministry down that was touching millions.
Wow.
So the attack was not just against the marriage. I know that the family, the marriage is the foundation. But the enemy was after a ministry. He got the marriage, but he did not get the ministry.
Glory to God.
And that's why I stand victorious. My circumstance, I couldn't lay out a schematic or a pattern to say how someone could come through what I went through, because it's very strange. Because I received a letter. We had 2 houses, one in one city and one in another, and I was back and forth. Clean the refrigerator in this one, fly to Japan, come back, clean the refrigerator in that, make sure my children. So, I took pride in my household. So I wasn't one of those women that I wouldn't go preach if my house wasn't in order.
Wow.
And I had 2 big houses to keep in order, where we ministered at. So I got a letter in the mail on Sunday evening saying your husband is divorcing you. And I was like, wow, and then I found out that all of the money had been taken out of the tithe account. Huge, $50,000 was just over the counter out of the tithe account. And so I was thinking that maybe he got back on drugs. And I was saying, I'll help you, whatever I need to do. And then when I got in the car with my mom, and we were driving 5 hours from one city to the other, we prayed all the way. And I'm thinking, this is just, I didn't know, this is something that was just crazy.
So your husband didn't give you a heads up and say,
no, I just got a letter. And when I got to the door of the house, was the church parsonage, but I was assigning for it. My name was on the house. When I knocked on the door, he looked out, he walked away, and I was waiting for him to open the door, and I looked around, and police were all around me. So he called the police, and they put me and my 70-year-old mother on the ground with guns to our heads. And I never, with my children looking out at me at the window, in their 11th year of school, I could not move them out of school, so I never went back into that house with him again. And after 5 days, after I was divorced, he married his ex-wife and moved her into the house. And I was not just divorced, but I was taken into a room by a group of lawyers, accountants, and they said, if you don't, we're going to rip the corporate veil of the church. And the only way we can rip the corporate veil of the church is we have to prove that you are false. And your husband said that you and he got together and connived and that you're not a real ministry.
Wow.
So if you don't sign these papers, then we're going to take your campaign. We're going to put it on the news and on the media and whatever. So I had to prove that I was a real church.
Wow.
And I had to tell them that whatever you take, if you didn't give it to me, you can't take it away from me. So I lost my re-election because they put all my divorce papers on the city council podiums, I lost that re-election in May, maybe August. I mean, I can't remember. But I know by the next year, in less than 7 months, I got back on the ballot. Instead of becoming a city council member, I got on the ballot to become a member of the House of Representatives. Florida has 120 members of the House of Representatives. And now I am one of the members of the House of Representatives. And where I used to smoke dope and do dirt and be a street person, I can look out the window and look down on the corner that I used to do things for the world. And now I'm a member of the House of Representatives in Florida. Look what the Lord has done, can do, will do.
Out in the country, they have this pump that you have to put a little water in it to prime it. I feel that God has been priming your pump. And He's been priming your pump and challenging you in ways that you didn't imagine Him challenging you. You've had spiritual attack, warfare that's come against your mind, but you won the battle of the mind. The warfare that's going on down on the inside of you. You're a good man that's taking a licking and keep on ticking like a Timex clock. I felt this man that has taken some licks, but the licks didn't take you out. And you're very analytical, very logical in your thinking. I feel my son-in-law, Lindsay Critton, which is an accountant, because numbers mean something. Your mind works that way. You calibrate things. You can figure them out that way. In fact, that's your language more than the spoken word, the numbers of seeing it and strategizing and thinking it through. I felt this apostolic anointing that's down on the inside of you as well. It looks like dark fertilizer that we used to farm with out in the country. The darker the fertilizer, the better the growth. When you put that around those plants, I felt some dark fertilizer down on the inside of you. And God has used you to fertilize other plants. That He's used you to farm for Him. He's used you so that you would raise a crop of people for Him. And as you raise those crop of people for Him, there have been people that overlooked the farmer in you, but the Lord has not overlooked the farmer in you. There are things that have tired you out, but God is refiring you. I feel a rejuvenation that's going on down in your body. At times of you feeling supernaturally, unnaturally exhausted, but I felt the hand of the Lord moving over your mind, moving over your body to give you strength. The strength that you thought was lost in your youth, I feel that that's coming back. I feel that in my spiritual mind, seeing that coming back to you. And the Lord giving you a voice with men and people in high places. People that are, I'm looking at this, looks like an assembly, a convocation. I'm looking at this group of people, and these are bishops and people that are high ranking. They're sitting on this podium, a platform, but you're having their ear. God has given you a voice with them to change some old ways of doing things. He's going to use you as a catalyst for change, to usher out the old, to bring in the new, breaking traditions. And some of them are going to chide with you, but some of them, your words are going to penetrate, because you're going to help them to see that the old ways of doing things didn't get it done. And changes that God has been wanting to make, He's going to use you as a catalyst for a change. And because of the things that you have walked through, it's going to open your eyes of understanding to embrace some things that you have not embraced in the past, looking at the word from a different perspective. You'll go into the word looking at it not from tradition and not from religion, but looking for the revelatory information that comes only from God.
You know, I just encourage those, when you talk about marriage counseling, some things are tailor-made. You know, I mean, it took some folk with strong, you know, apostolic anointings to walk me through what I went through. It wasn't just, this was not the situation where we're going to try to get y'all back together. This was not that kind of situation. And I know folk don't understand this, but when I say I am happily divorced. Amen. I am happily divorced because the joy of the Lord is my strength. And
So there is life after divorce.
There is life after divorce, and guess what? When it is what it is, you have to get over it and move on.
Okay.
And that's what God has given me.
Now you said a key point. When it is what it is, you have to get over it.
You have to move on.
How did you hit that rock bottom, or that place of realizing this is irreconcilable difference, regardless of how much I want to stay in the marriage? I can't keep.
When I got the letter,
okay,
I never called him again.
Okay.
So when you send me a letter in the mail to divorce me, it's time to go. You know, it's not time to figure it out.
Okay.
So when you say that we are false prophets and everything that God has done was not real, it's time to go.
Wow.
So you know. And my children are doing well, and I've never been happier in my life. And I know some people that let divorces and things like that just mess them up. But God took what the devil meant for evil and took me to another level. No weapons formed against me will prosper. And even when the enemy can't get you, he said, I'll get the closest one to you. And you still have to be able to stand for God. Let me tell you a dream that I had.
Okay.
That helped me as I of course I was messed up doing the whole thing. I couldn't say much, I couldn't do much, just sit there and wait on God and pray. But there was a dream that.
But you gave a key before you shared that dream. You had apostolic mentors, you had trailblazers, you had people that walked you through it. You didn't feel that you just need to fast and pray and get by yourself and do it all by yourself.
Well, I did fast and pray, and I was by myself a lot, but I had people who knew me.
Right.
And because they knew me and they knew the ministry, they stuck with me.
Right.
When a lot of people walked away and say, oh, she must have did this. A lot of times think when something happened, oh, you must have done. Sometimes the enemy attack you when you've done right.
Right.
You know, for righteousness' sake, people suffer persecution, but for several days I was having a series of dreams when I first got, in ministry. I was married, but in this dream, there was an area of my town that there was a lot of witchcraft, and the Lord took me to this place in a dream, and I would dream, wake up, have part of the dream, go back and pick the dream up where it left off for days, and one dream, somebody broke in the house, and it was these bandits, and I had my children and my family, and I was trying to hide them in the closet, and this person broke in, and I heard the Spirit say, you run and get in a place where you can help them. I couldn't fight them, so I needed help. So I ran out, there was a telephone, and the telephone, I picked it up and I said, I dialed 911, and I said, I need help, somebody, and the lady said, this is directory assistance, may I help you? And I did that 2 or 3 times, and I said, ma'am, I didn't dial 411, I dialed 911, and God told me that people need help, and the church just keeps giving them information.
Wow.
And so
that for a powerful dream. God of my dreams.
And so the next night I dreamed, and I was in a type of hell, and there were demons. Satan looked like, I knew it was the devil, but he was like a man with a long beard, with a long, like a Chinese garment, with a hat on, and he had a staff. And they kept wanting me to say something, and whatever it is, I wouldn't say it. I don't remember what they wanted me to say, but I refused. So they put my children before me, and they said, if you don't say it, we're gonna kill your children. And I said, you gotta kill them. And then they put my husband before me, and they said, if you don't say it, we're gonna kill your husband. I said, you gotta kill him, because whatever it is, they wanted me. You cannot give your soul for your husband, for your children.
And all of this was in the dream.
Yeah, this was in the dream. In other words, they were saying, give whatever it was, they wanted my soul. So I had to agree to give my soul to the devil, whatever, and I wouldn't do it. And but the last thing they did was they put a table before me. The table was really long and the most beautiful fruit I've ever seen. When I tell you, I cannot describe how beautiful this fruit was. And then he said, eat. And before he put my children, before he put my husband, the temptation was so strong, more stronger than my husband, more stronger than to eat this beautiful fruit. And I heard the Lord say, now do you see what Eve went through? But I said no, and I did eat the fruit, and I ran out of the place, and there was a wall, and I was climbing up the wall to get out of there, and these little imps were pulling me back down the wall. And as they were pulling me back down the wall, my head was down because I was going back in there for them to torment me some more. And I could hear the imps just picking at me, and Satan was walking with a staff in the front. He was like cursing the demons out, saying, you can't even get a woman. She don't have, I'm going to show y'all how to deal with her. And he was walking, I was walking behind Satan, the imps was behind me, and I heard the little demon say, we're going to get her with this spirit. We're going to get her. And they named the spirit. I'm not going to say the name of the spirit. But when I heard them say, we're going to sign this spirit against her, and it's a curse word that starts with a B. Okay, we're gonna assign that spirit against her. And when I said it, Satan turned around and said, no, don't let her know that. And so they came in and they put electric prongs on my body and put me down in the water, because my fear is that I cannot swim. I can't swim. So they said, we're going to put you in this water. Well, I had to go in the water. When I went down under the water, and when I heard the Spirit of God said, bind that B spirit. And when I did, I could breathe underwater.
Wow.
And that was a dream.
Wow. Wow. Apostle Kim Daniels, State Representative for the State of Florida. Kim Daniels. Celebrity. Hollywood, getting ready to make a movie. Author, written many books. Pastoring a church. Powerful mother. The twins played for my alma mater, Florida A&M University. Elijah and Elijah on the football team there. This is going to be an awesome season because we have a part of your seed, your legacy.